Is it working? Oh my goodness. It took so long today to get this going. So hopefully you guys can see me. Hopefully you were able to join me on this YouTube live. This is going to be a Q&A. I'm just texting my moderator. So we do a Q&A once a month, and today is the day for that. So I hope you guys can see me during this live stream because I had all kinds of technical difficulties trying to get on today. Um, so whatever that is, for whatever reason, I have no idea. So, oh, good you see me now. What was the deal today? I have been trying to get signed on for over 10 minutes. Whew. Okay, it's working. We're here. I was the old me would have gotten very flustered at this point. But I didn't today. I'm so proud of myself. Hold on, I'm trying to hook something else up. So I'm proud of myself because I'm like, I am 10 minutes late to my own live stream. That's not acceptable. So I'm here and good morning, everyone. Good morning, Millie and Aiden and Emily and Nana. Welcome. So once a month, I do Ask Me Anything, a Q&A. So it's that time. So if you guys, I'm getting some lovely comments on Instagram. You know who you are. So today's going to be like a Q&A. Ask me anything. So for those of you who don't know, I am an actress, an author, a life coach, and a motivational speaker. And so I answer questions usually based on uh, do you have questions about life or advice that you need, motivation, relationship with God? I'm a faith based life coach. So, questions around that are really great. So, I'm just going to start reading your questions. If you're watching me on YouTube right now, that's where I'm seeing the questions better. If they're on Instagram, it's scrolling too fast. So you can watch me there and hear what I'm saying. But if you want to ask a question, find me on YouTube. It's under Katherine Norland, and you should see the stream. So Vias is asking, what are your thoughts on the saying that 90% of people do not care about your problems and the other 10% will laugh behind your back? How do you know who you can trust? I'm sure that there was no scientific study done measuring the amount of people who care and who don't care. And it's yes, a lot of people don't care, but if they're people in your life, they probably do care. Sometimes they don't know how to help. Sometimes they can't figure out what to do in order to help you. And honestly, I wouldn't worry about the people that laugh behind your back because they're not your true friends anyway, right? So let them laugh. You be who you are. You say what you feel. You live the way that you feel is lined up with your values and your beliefs. And who cares about the people who laugh? We have to stop being so concerned about what other people think of us. All that's going to do is keep you prisoner and keep you tied down. And you're not going to be living the life that you want to live if you're so concerned about the people who don't like you. People are always going to say trash. As soon as I signed on to Instagram, somebody was telling me to F off, whatever. Do who do I don't even know who these people are. These random trolls that just try to like make you mad or whatever. Like who cares? They're not your friends. And there's trolls that are behind the keyboard that are just going to try to say stuff to get you worked up or to get you upset. What kind of life do they have? What kind of life are they living if all they do is go and talk trash about you? Like how do they even sleep at night? I mean, seriously, do not get yourself worked up about anybody laughing behind your back. Seriously, it does not matter. Okay. All right. Next question. Do you know when you're going to be in another Dhar Mann video? I am shooting this week, in the next couple days, some shorts. Do you guys ever watch the shorts? They now make these little like 20, 30, up to 60-second shorts. So I'm going to be in like 5 of those this week. Next question. What's your life and how do you do your acting? Um, how do I answer that? What's my life? Well, every day I wake up, I'm breathing. That's my life. How do I do my acting? I studied acting for over 20 years. More than 20 years I've studied acting. So, of various all different kinds of methods. I don't have necessarily one method. Sometimes it's like when you're in the kitchen, you have a bunch of different tools. You don't always use the shears. Sometimes you use a serrated knife. Sometimes you use a butcher knife when you're making creations. It's kind of the same for acting. You don't always use the same tools. Sometimes you use different tools to get the job done. Okay, let's see. Next question is um, what inspired you to work for Dhar Mann? When I started working there, nobody was even watching. Nobody was even watching the channel. Like, if there was two or 300 views, that was like cool. It wasn't the global phenomenon that it is now. So I didn't even know what I was getting myself into. Next question. It says, when you are friends with them, they're already friends with another, and now you're in the group. I don't even know what that means. Is that a question? If you could phrase it like a question so I can understand it, I will be able to answer you so much better instead of trying to interpret what I think you're trying to say. Somebody's asking me how I am today. I am wonderful now that I'm on talking to you guys. I wasn't sure it was going to happen. So, unfortunately, those of you who were going to watch me today on Facebook, that didn't happen because StreamYard was having difficulties. So, I normally go on StreamYard and it will broadcast to the different Facebook groups and to YouTube at the same time. And then on my phone, I go on Instagram. But it didn't work out. That's okay. Let's see. Did Eli have a good birthday? Yes, he did. He went had a little pizza party. He got to go swimming. Uh, he got a toy that he really wanted. Okay, VS is asking me, what advice do you have on setting boundaries? Well, that's going to be so individual for each person. But you need to draw a line in the sand about what's acceptable to you and what's not acceptable to you. What's acceptable to you may be different than what's acceptable to other people. Other people may allow you to call them and text them anytime, night or day. They may have their phone by the bed so you can contact anytime. You may say, I don't want anybody bothering me after 9 p.m. because I'm starting to wind down, get ready for bed. Or maybe you say, I don't want anyone texting me till 8 a.m. because 6 a.m. till 8 a.m. I'm doing my quiet time with God or I'm having my exercise. People are going to keep overstepping your boundaries if they don't know what your boundaries are or if you give in. So, what's important to you? You need to decide what's important to you and then stick to it and let other people know why that's important to you. And if they don't stick to it, well, you may then just decide that if they're not going to respect your boundaries, maybe they're not somebody you want to have in your life. All right. Matthew is asking, what, how do you memorize your lines when acting? There's so many different techniques you can use to memorize your lines. One of my first acting teachers taught us to write all the lines down by hand because it helps seal it in your memory better. He also taught us to like draw pictures of what the lines mean or what they represent. So let's say you have a line that's saying, I'm not going to walk your dog today. You may draw a picture of a dog on a leash. And then each line you draw a picture of what that line represents. Then when you're trying to remember it, sometimes it's easier to remember the picture than it is to remember the exact line. In the past, I used to record myself saying the lines, and then as I would drive around, I would play back the recording and just hear the lines over and over. Um, Another technique when it comes to that, this is not related to memorizing the lines, but giving a performance. If you are going to record yourself, don't record yourself doing the line how you see it being done, how you want to do it. because you don't want to lock in a performance and be stuck with that way of doing it. So you want to say your lines pretty monotone, pretty neutral. So then when you're on set and the director tells you, can you be more angry or fed up on this line? You're not stuck with how you memorized your performance. You want to be able to move when the director asks you to move or to do something differently or to change the emotions. Also, you want to be able to play off the other actor that you're talking to. So if they're giving you some kind of attitude, you want to be able to take that and respond to it and not be just locked into the way you memorized doing it. Another way you can memorize your lines is look at if there's certain sounds in the line, um, and pick up on, like, Libby's going to the library. Oh, this is the line where it's Libby library. And sometimes you can remember if there's certain similar sounds in there. And I'm sure there's dozens and dozens of other techniques of how you can memorize your lines. Okay. So Deepak is asking, is Mikey your real child? No, he's not. I have two boys that are both blonde. Maybe they might look similar to Mikey. Not really. But Mikey's not my real son. His real name, his name is actually Cato, in case you don't know. All right. VS asks, do you have any advice on ways to tell if a person can be trusted? First of all, it's really hard to trust anyone. And I don't mean to go around being paranoid all the time. I mean to develop friendships slowly. Don't just rush into a friendship and tell everybody everything about you and give them the key to your house and let them know your passwords. First of all, never let anyone know your passwords or give them the key to your house unless you've known them for many years. And see, trust is something that is not automatic that you can tell right away with a person. Trust is something that needs to be earned. And I know sometimes we get so eager to make a friendship or a relationship that we just dive in and we start telling them everything. And then it can come back later to haunt us. They may gossip about us, or they may tell people that we didn't want to know certain things. So I think trust is not something that you can necessarily tell about a person when you first meet them. You have to see how they are, how they respond, how they act. Um, and I'm not saying to give them tests like tell them a juicy tidbit and then find out if it gets around. I'm not saying to do that, but you can tell if a person can be trusted sometimes, especially like in the area of gossip, if you listen to what they're saying about other people, right? If they're talking trash about other people, just know that's who they are. They're showing who they are. If they're talking trash about other people, then most likely it's going to come around to you, and one day they're going to start talking trash about you. When people show you who they are, believe them. And so what is a person like? You need to be quiet and just listen. When you get to know someone, don't do all the talking. Let them do a lot of the talking, because when they do the talking, you can see what they're really like and what's inside them, right? The Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So, what are they speaking? What are they saying? You're going to know what's inside them and who they are by the words that come out of their mouth. So, listen to the things that they talk about. I don't remember the exact saying, but there's a saying that talks about how small minded people talk about other people, like medium minded people talk about current events, big minded people talk about ideas and creativity. So, what are they talking about? Are they gossiping? Are they talking about other people? Are they talking about the latest gossip? Are they talking about, oh, the economy's so bad? Or are they talking about, oh, I've got this idea and I'm thinking, how am I going to execute this? And I want to write this book. And how would I make this creation? Those are the kind of people you want to be around, because they're going to spur you on to success. They're going to spur you on to creativity. All right. Then for those of you who are watching on Instagram, if you want to ask me a question, hop on over to my YouTube channel and type the question, because they're going by too fast on Instagram. You can watch me there for the answers, but hop on YouTube if you want to ask a question. Okay, Millie, can you be more specific on your question about attachment? I'm not sure in what capacity you're asking that question. All right, Jessica is saying, as a person in recovery for a pill addict and ED, people say that they love me, are so hard on me, and say I'm not trying, but it's taking forever and I am trying. Yeah, I understand. It's like that saying, nobody knows what you're going through until they walk a mile in your shoes. And I believe you are trying. I think most of the time, all of us are trying to do our best. And it's sometimes very hurtful when someone says to us, "Oh, you're not even trying. You're not even trying to make a difference just because you're still struggling with that thing. Maybe you need more help. Maybe you need a different kind of help. Maybe you need to be around different people. Maybe need to find a mentor who has recovered from what you're trying to recover from that can give you hints. Are you reading books? Are you reading self-help books? I'm sure you're praying, asking God for help. But sometimes, like some people who are addicted to alcohol, sometimes they go to a group called AA and they get what's called a sponsor. That's someone who has stopped drinking alcohol, and they help sponsor people who are still trying to break that addiction. So I would maybe think about getting a mentor or a coach or a sponsor who has overcome what you're going through. And you know what? I know there's a lot of books out on the topic that you're struggling with, and I bet there's even Facebook groups. So see where you can plug in and get some help and some other ideas. And if the people in your life are saying you're not trying when you know you are, then maybe for a time you want to distance yourself from them, because you don't want to slip back and slide into your old ways just because people are accusing you of not trying. That's not very helpful. And if there are people that are really in your life or family, then I would sit down and talk to them and let them know, I am trying and I'm doing all these things. When you have this kind of addiction, is not necessarily a flip of a switch. Sometimes it can work, but sometimes it takes a gradual process of slowly pulling those addictive claws out of you to make a difference. So if there are people that you have to have in your life, then I would sit down with them and have a chat, have a meeting with them, and let them know that you are trying, and that it's hurtful when they say that you're not. And then also share with them ways that they can help you. Share with them what is helpful to you and what is not helpful to you. So you're recovering from ED. I don't know if you're talking about bulimia or anorexia. Sometimes people in your life will go, just eat a burger. What's your problem? It's not that hard. Just eat something. And they don't know all the psychological things that are wrapped up into that for you, and all the stuff you have to unwind to get that out of your system. Let them know what's helpful to you and what's not helpful to you. Okay? So I think that will help you. All right. Hannah asks, why do you have two different colored eyes? I don't know. You're going to have to ask God. I was born that way. Um, yeah, Jessica's saying their words halt my progress. Any advice? Hopefully what I said to you is going to be helpful to you, and you'll need to talk to them about it. All right, Millie, any advice on following your dreams? Yeah, I talk about that a lot here. If you guys watch me on YouTube, I have over 800 videos on, how to get rid of the obstacles that are standing in the way between you and your dreams, how to see yourself the way God sees you so that you have the courage and the confidence to stop hiding and go after your dreams. So, if you're new here, dig into my channel on YouTube and you're going to find a lot of great advice around that. But I can talk for hours and hours and hours on following your dreams. Sometimes you just have to do it. You have to ignore the voice of what other people are saying. If you don't know how, read some books on it, go online, watch some videos of how other people did it. And if going after your dream is going to take people saying yes or no, if it's going to require like rejection and things like that, then just be prepared for that and know when someone says no, it's not anything against you. It's just they either don't understand what you're trying to do, or they're not a right fit for you, or it's not the right time. But don't take the no's personally. That's what I would say. All right. Oh, where did that go? Okay. All right. Next question. Sean is asking, what's your favorite video on Dhar Mann? So many I've done. I made a video here on my YouTube channel called my 8 favorite Dhar Mann videos I'm in. So watch that. I also really love the one I did called like teen boys about to jump off a bridge. That was one of my favorite ones because of the message in it. So I'm holding a sign in it called more hugs, less suicide. All right, Millie, any advice for feeling like you want to give up? I feel like we all feel like we want to give up sometimes. You got to get when you get to that place where you've had so much rejection or things don't seem like it's working, sometimes step back, walk away from that for a couple of days, pray, go out in nature, hang out with friends. Sometimes we're just trying so hard, we just need to stop, pull back, get rejuvenated. But giving up is a common feeling. And also get down to the heart of the matter of why you want to do what you want to do. Why are you trying to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish? If, I have a coaching client, and one of the reasons he wants to make so much money in the business that he does is because he wants to give away $1 million to a charity to help children who have been trafficked, children who have been made slaves. And so whenever he gets frustrated with his business or hits a wall, I remind him of the goal he has to give $1 million to this certain charity that he wants to support. And so sometimes it helps you get clear on your why. Why is this so important for me? When you get clear on your why and how important that is, it helps you push through the obstacles because you see, I told him to print out pictures of like the kids and the people that you want to help and put them by your work computer. So when you start to get stuck or feel like, oh, forget this is too hard, you can look at that picture of these kids or whatever it is for you, and it gives you renewed inspiration to keep going and push through the obstacles. All right. So WeTube Gaming asks, let's say you're friends with a person, but they're already friends with someone else now. So you just find yourself in this group of 3, but you feel left out, like a third wheel. So they've obviously asked you in the group for a reason. You're there, you're hanging out. Sometimes we have these overactive thoughts about people not liking us or us not being enough. And sometimes other people don't feel that way about us at all. Sometimes that's just how we feel because we have low self esteem or we don't know what our worth or value is. So we feel like we're not blending in, but they invited you into the group for a reason. So what I would do is I would find ways to participate in the conversation instead of thinking, oh, why am I here? They probably don't really like me. Get really interested in them, get really interested in what they're doing. Start to talk to them about things that excite them and motivate them. And you know, that's going to be something that uh, will cement you more in the group and make you a valuable person in the group. So getting clear on what other people like and what excites them. And then eventually you're going to feel like you're part of the group. They're going to be asking you more. They're going to be talking to you more. They're going to love hanging out with you more. It's not about us being interesting. It's about us being interested in others. And when you are really interested in others and what they're doing and what they have to say, then they're going to be interested in you as well. So see how you can be a contribution. Push in, like dive in deeper instead of pulling yourself back because you feel like a third wheel. Our feelings are not always the truth. Sometimes you may feel inadequate. You may feel like people don't like you, and it's not even accurate. Those feelings are fleeting, they come and go. The Bible says the heart is deceitful above all things. Who can know it? So it's not about, but in my heart, I don't feel like that's irrelevant, right? So just try to connect more. Try to ask them what they're all about. Okay, Derek. Thank you for the super sticker, Derek. Um, Derek is asking if two people live two completely different lives, one rich and the other poor, then how can a poor person become rich if he has a completely different life than the rich person? Okay, being rich starts with your mindset. It doesn't start with you having money. Some rich people were born into money, but some rich people started with nothing and worked their way up. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of stories out there. You see it a lot in real estate of people who were so poor and now they're rich. There's hundreds. You can find hundreds of stories. It's not about where you start, it's about where you finish. And the only thing that can keep a poor person staying poor is their mindset and their habits. So if you start doing and thinking the things that the rich person does and thinks, you too can become a rich person, right? And it's not only about tithing. That's a amazing component and everybody should do it. For those of you who don't know what tithing is, it's when you give 10% of your money away to church or to charitable organizations. You become a giver, right? The book of Malachi in the Bible talks about when you give back into the storehouse that God will open up the windows of heaven and pour down such a great blessing that you will not be have room enough to contain. And yet, we can sometimes see faith filled, God loving people in the church who are poor, but they're tithers. Why is that? Well, you can't do the right thing with 10% of your money if you're doing the wrong thing with 90% of your money. Do I need to say that again? You can't do the right thing with 10% of your money and do the wrong thing with 90% of your money. Where are you investing? Are you are you putting money in a interest bearing account each month? Are you letting it build? If you have an extra, there's apps now on your phone where you can buy stocks even just a little bit at a time. A lot of times you can't buy a stock that's going to make money in the stock market unless you have enough to buy one share. Well, sometimes some of these shares are $300 and that may not be excess money you have each month, but there's certain apps now where you can invest in stocks buying, like, maybe you only have $30 a month. You can buy a tenth of a share of that stock. Over the last 100 years, the stock market has brought a return. It changes each year, but the average has been 10%. So would it be helpful to you guys if I did an entire live stream on money and how to have more of it, how to invest, how to look at your money? If you guys let me know in the comments if that would be helpful to you, that's something I'm willing to do. If it will help you, just caveat, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just going to let you know what I've experienced, what I've seen work for others, what I've seen work for me, tons of books I've read on the topic. So it's not about this person's rich and you're poor and how can I get there? It's about, are you thinking the way they think? Are you doing the things that they do? You can be investing each month into things that are going to make money for you. For instance, are you wasting money on consumer goods? Are you buying bunches of stuff at the store? Are you spending all your extra money at Walmart on things you don't necessarily really need, but you just, oh, I'm going to get a new pair of jeans, even though the pair of jeans you have right now are fine. What are you spending? If you could go through and look at, this is an exercise I'd love all of you to do. Go through and write down what you spend every penny on. Do that for a month. You would be shocked at the excess waste. There's so many ways to save money. Like when you go out to eat at a restaurant, don't order a beverage. Just order water. That'll save you $3 to $5 each time you go out to eat. You can take that money and invest at certain places instead of wasting it on a drink. Have a soda or whatever when you get home. They'll be like half the price or a fourth of the price. There's so many ways you can save money. So just look to see what the rich people are doing and start to emulate them. A lot of times you get stuck is in your own mindset. So there's actually a group I'm in right now. You guys might want to join it. It's a free group on Facebook. It's called Money Maven. And she goes live every Saturday. I think it's around 10:30. So shortly after this, where she helps people break free from their money blocks. That might be a good idea for you to join that group. I've been in that group. I'm a member of that group. And so she helps you solve your money blocks because money solves problems. Money's neither good or bad, it's just neutral. It's what you do with it. So if you're not doing what the rich people are doing, if you're not doing things that are getting you the results, then you got to take a look at what you are doing with your money and do better things with it. Instead of investing into consumable goods, like wasting all your money buying trinkets and gadgets that you already have and you just wanted to upgrade. As my mom always used to say, use it up, wear it out, make it do or do without. If you don't need it, don't waste your money on it. Sometimes we buy something because it's like an addict. They get that dopamine hit and it's so exciting for a minute, but then stuff just piles up. I have a friend of mine who passed away, and when she died, she had hundreds of packages of things she bought on eBay and Amazon that never even got opened. She got that initial joy of, ooh, I'm going to get this new thing. She never even got to enjoy them. Imagine what you could be doing if you used your money more wisely, putting your money instead of into consumer goods, but into income producing assets. What is an income producing asset? It's anything that can make you money. Maybe you buy a tool, a certain tool, and people who are in wood shop, and you have this wood cutting tool and you rent it out to them for a certain amount of money. Maybe you've heard of Turo. Maybe you get a car, and on days you're home and you don't plan on going anywhere, you put it on Turo and you rent it out, and other people can rent your car for the day. There's so many ways you can make money. It is endless. There's millions of ways you can make money right now where you're at. You can create a digital product. You can create a digital book, sell it online. Some people nowadays, they're not even using their own mind and creativity to make the book. They're having like AI create a book, and they're uploading it on Amazon, and they're selling hundreds of dollars worth of copies. You just have to get creative. You have to think outside the box. It's like that saying that says there's no such thing as a lack of resources. There's only a lack of resourcefulness. So if you want to get out of that poor situation, you have to do rich habits. And you can do that starting from zero. Okay. LM asks, can I visit Dhar Mann Studios like as a guest? I don't know. You may want to call them and ask the front desk if they in the past have talked about doing tours. I don't know if that has become a regular thing, if they're actually doing that. So I'm not sure how that would work. I'm not involved in that kind of stuff. Okay. Brittany's asking, what are you doing for Father's Day? Well, my family is in Minnesota right now, so I won't be doing I won't get to see them on Father's Day, but I'll call them. All right. Let's see. Sean asks, do you like tattoos? I haven't admired artwork on other people's bodies, but I do not have any myself. So I don't like them enough to want to put that permanent ink on myself. I figure if I like something, I could just get like a t-shirt made or something. Or see the pillow behind me? It says you are worthy. Oh, wait, it's on this side. Oh, you can't see it on Instagram. If you were on uh, YouTube, you'd see the pillow I'm talking about. I would rather make a t-shirt or something than be stuck with that permanently. Okay, let's see. I'm looking at your questions. I don't know who Catherine Linden is, Selena. So the car crash guy is asking how my day is. It's going wonderful. I hope yours is too. Okay. Um, let's see. Oh, Seth Holiday says, "What happened to the Dhar Mann reaction channel?" I think that they saw that the reaction videos weren't performing that well, so it didn't really pay to keep going on that channel. I'm not 100% sure if my answer is going to be correct, but I think, don't quote me on this, I'm not sure. I think they turned the reaction channel into the bonus channel. How many of you guys know that Dhar Mann also has a bonus channel? Are you aware of that? That there's the regular Dhar Mann channel, but there's also a bonus channel with completely different stories and completely different videos. Did you know that? So the way I look at it is the regular Dhar Mann channel, that's more of the stories centered around like teenage main characters, whereas the Dhar Mann bonus channel, that's more of the stories that are centered around adult main characters. So the difference between what teens and kids are going through on the regular Dhar Mann channel and the Dhar Mann bonus channel is what adults are going through. So if you haven't checked out the Dhar Mann bonus channel, that's a great channel. So maybe your parents would be into that one if you're a kid, or if you're an adult, you might like the Dhar Mann bonus channel as well. You might relate to more of the stories there. Who knows? Okay. Um, Raymond says, "What's it like working with Sarah Noel?" She's really sweet. She's a nice lady. I like her. Let's see. Matthew says there's a saying that money doesn't grow on trees. That is a saying, but I think when people start saying sayings like that, that's coming out of a lack mindset. That's coming out of a poverty mindset. When you say things like that, that's a way of saying, we don't have enough, we don't have money, you can't just get it from anywhere. Resources are abundant, money is abundant. And when you do the right things, you can tap into it, right? I'm currently working very hard on right now getting my websites done and the different landing pages that I want to do for my books and my courses and things like that. There's things that we can create that are resources people need that they can purchase. And, you say money doesn't grow on trees, but it's made out of paper. And what do we make paper out of? So, in a way, it does grow on trees. So I just think you have to be careful about making statements like that because that keeps you stuck in a poverty mindset. And there's abundance everywhere you go. You walk outside, there's trees everywhere. There's grass everywhere. There's flowers everywhere. There's birds everywhere. God's abundance is everywhere. And if you start walking around thinking about lack, you're going to see lack everywhere you go. So start, look at like when I go in my neighborhood, there's so many cars. There's you walk outside, there's abundance everywhere. There's abundance of all good things, right? And like we learn in Philippians 4:19, God will meet all of our needs according to his riches and glory through Christ Jesus. When we look at um, in the book of Matthew, it talks about if you seek first the kingdom of God, then all these things shall be added unto you. What things? All things, whatever you need. So it's, I think we just have to make sure that we're seeking God first and praying about it. And when God gives you an idea to do something, do it. When he gives you an idea to call someone or to say a certain thing, he knows what your needs are. And he says in scripture, um, the birds of the air, they don't worry or fret about what they're going to eat. And we're more important to God than the sparrows. He says he knows every hair on our head. So our needs are a concern, not just to us, but God is concerned with your needs as well. And he wants you to press into him and seek him for what the answers are for your financial situation. So you got to do that. All right. So Lee, is it Letitia? Hopefully I said your name wrong. Letitia says, my mother always says money is important, but you can't bring it with you in your coffin. So enjoy it with your family and friends while you can. Yeah, there's no need to store it up. We don't need to like stack it and never do anything with it, of course. But we also, yes, you can't take it with you, but scripture also tells us that a good man will leave an inheritance to his children's children. So you also cannot be a just spend it all, because then you're not following God's plan, where he says you should be leaving an inheritance to your children's children. If you're selfish and you're lavishing it all on yourself and spending it all on you, that's going against what God is telling you to do in the Bible. You should have a legacy set up for those who go behind you. How much easier would your life have been? Maybe if you're an adult now, how much easier would your life have been if your parents had left you a house, or if they had left you some money and you didn't have to struggle so hard? You're trying to pay your bills with this job that's not even lined up with your purpose, and then you're trying to do your purpose and you're calling on the side because you're trying to do, you know, if we had the training and we had resources left to us, that would make it so much easier to step into our God-given calling if we weren't having to distract ourselves trying to make a living. Somehow I'm getting into this money teaching, which I wasn't going to do for a couple of weeks, but looks like it's a concern you guys have. So maybe that is something we should get into. All right, let's take a look here. All right. Millie asks, do you speak any other languages? No. I took Spanish in high school for 1 year, but it was like the Castilian, am I saying that right? Spanish. And when I got to Los Angeles, there a lot of the people speaking Spanish here are from Mexico. And so in the past, when I would try to speak the kind of Spanish from Spain, they didn't really know what I was talking about. So it didn't do me much good. And I only had a year of it. I did learn a little tiny little bit of sign language early on when my son was not verbal and they were telling me he was never going to be able to speak. But then God did a miracle. Prayer, I changed his diet, all this. He started to be able to speak. And then I kind of just stopped learning sign language because I didn't need it anymore. Oh, okay. Jessica, I have not seen the video from yesterday, but Jessica is saying there was finally, Dhar Mann finally let a swear word slide in yesterday's video, and it was funny. I don't know. I can't confirm that. I have not seen yesterday's video. I was traveling. Yesterday, I drove 5 or 6 hours back from Las Vegas. I spent the last 8 days in Las Vegas, so I haven't caught up on all the Dhar Manns I missed. Okay, let me check out your questions. The Financial Peace book is great. Okay, so Youth Rock is suggesting a book called Financial Peace. Maybe that's a book you guys want to check out if you also. Oh, yes, Brittany sees an abundance of corn. She's living in Iowa. But that abundance of corn is proof that there is abundance out in the world. Oh, yes. Youth Rock is talking about how God turns a mustard seed into the biggest tree in the world. And that's a reference to how much faith we need to have. If you think, I don't have enough faith, just think of how tiny a mustard seed is. I actually keep a mustard seed in my purse. Let me show you. So you can see how small it is. Okay, where is my little mustard seed? Is this it? Here it is. So it's Matthew 17:20. If ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say to this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible for you. So look at how tiny. I'll show you there too. That's a super tiny. Let's see how small that mustard seed is. And then it grows into this big tree that birds can nest in. All right. Antoine is asking me to do my next 3 questions with cat video with Vanessa Nottingham, please. Vias is asking, what happened to Aiden? I have not seen him in Dhar Mann in the first half of 2024. Has it been that long? I know he was taking a break from acting for a while. Yeah, I think he was taking a break, and I don't know whenever he's ready to come back, I'm sure the door is wide open for him. Okay, Nicola, thank you so much for the super sticker. Nicola is asking, how can you express gratitude to a friend you feel close with, but they see you as an acquaintance? You know, that's a great question. And you know what you could do? You could do something that, if you have know a little bit about them or what they like for instance, I was with a friend in Vegas the last few days, and she was mentioning how she used to have these wonderful wall hangings that had different scriptures, but she gave them away when she moved, and she was feeling like, oh, I really wish I had those wall scriptures that kept me motivated and kept my mind in the right place. She just mentioned that once, and so I ordered them for her, and I just sent them to her house, and it was so surprised she got them yesterday, and she was like, "Oh, this is so great. I was thinking about getting these, but then I didn't." You could just do some like if you hear something that they like I was yesterday I stayed at a place in Pahrump, which is an hour outside of Vegas. I had some friends that moved there, and the lady was telling me, she was showing me all her teas, and she loves teas, and she was pointing out this one tea that was her favorite. And I'm probably going to go online today and order her favorite tea and just send it to her just as a thank you. So sometimes you want to just pay attention to what people say they like, and just make a mental note of it, and then you could send them a little card or a little thank you for being a great listening ear, thank you for being a great friend, I know you like this tea, enjoy something simple like that. uh, that would be one way. You could write them a letter, you could write them a poem. There's so many ways to express gratitude. Sending them a text, a phone call, sending them a nice little gift. It's individual for each person. So, the more you get to know them, the more you'll see what you could do. For Missile, Donald says, Scripture says he knew us before we were born. Yes, that's in the book of Jeremiah. God is talking about before the foundations of the earth that God knew us. And he knew us before we were in our mother's womb. So that tells you that there's more to this life than this outside shell we're in. That when this body dies and goes into the ground, that we will have that part of us that goes on living. If God knew us before he put us in our body, I talk about this in my You Are Worthy course. If you go to youareworthycourse.com, you can find out more about that. But I talk about how we are not our body. And those of us who are getting all hung up because, oh, we don't like the size of our body, we don't like the shape of our body, we're getting wrinkles, we don't like how our nose is shaped, all this, it's not even us. Like, it's not even us. So getting all worked up about, like, I live in this house. Let's say the paint was cracking or part of the side was falling down. Like, okay, it's not who I am. Just because my house is falling apart or getting a little wrinkled or whatever, it's not where I place my value. It's not who I am. And if we spent more time concerned with the true us, the speaking spirit that's living inside this body, we would be so much better off. So I have in my next book that I'm working on called You Are Worthy, Now What? And the advanced course, I talk about the three different parts that we have. So we are a spirit, we have a soul, and we live in a body, right? You are not your soul and you are not your body. You are a spirit. So we can get more into that. That would be a whole nother training too. I did a whole like an hour-long teaching on that. So, and the difference between the flesh and the spirit and the battle, the warfare that's going on for the soul. The devil wants to get your soul. That's your mind, your will, and your emotions. Some would include in that your identity. If the devil can get you to start thinking the way he does and behaving the way he does, and hating yourself and not liking yourself or not, then he's won. But that's where the battlefield is. It's for the mind. Your mind is powerful, and it's different than your brain. Your brain is the organ, right? It's the flesh thing that they can operate on, but your mind is your will. You know, it's your will, your emotions, the way you think. You start thinking in the way God thinks, things are going to go well for you. You start thinking the way the devil thinks, things are not going to go well for you. So you have control over your mind, your will, and your emotions, but it's not who you are. You are the spirit that God knew before he put you in your mother's womb. And that same spirit that when this I don't know, this meat suit, this earth suit plops into the ground, the real you is going to go whoop. And you're going to look back at your life when, if you spent your whole life hating your nose, hating your size, hating all this stuff, you're going to have a lot of regrets. However you look, embrace yourself right now, no matter what size you wear, no matter how old you are, no matter if you have gray hair or I don't big ears, whatever it is, it's not even you. So getting like not going in public, not feeling like you can see someone, not wanting to go to a class reunion because you're 50 pounds heavier, whatever, it's it's pointless because it's not even who you are. Okay? So we have to stop being so concerned about the things that aren't going to matter. They're wood, they're hay, they get burned up. It's not about eternity. It's about this spiritual person inside us, the real us that's going to keep going on living long after we're gone. That's what it's really about. If you want to dive deeper into that, get my book, You Are Worthy, on Amazon, or go to youareworthycourse.com and find out more about that. Okay, let's see. I think it is, you guys, it's after 9. I know I was 10 minutes late. You got robbed of 10 minutes today, but that's just because I wasn't able to sign on. So join me next week. I'm on here every Saturday, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We do this Q&A once a month. So next week, we'll go back to the training we've been doing on perfectionism and how to get out of procrastination, how to be able to get into action on your dreams and your goals. So thank you so much for being here. Hey, Jarrell, good to see you show up. And take care. We'll see you next time. Bye.